This is Sybert signing into Tiberium Wars on the map Destination. This is not your typical Tib Wars map. There's been so many fantastic community-made maps over in Kane's Wrath for years now, and some of those are making their way to Tib Wars. Not necessarily the literal maps, but the spirit of making good competitive community-made maps is here. So, in the top right-hand corner of the map Destination has a green nod. This is TrainingAcc. I don't know who that person actually is. I'll be calling him TrainingAcc and going for a Shadow Team Rush. And this is a pretty solid Shadow Team Rush. This is like 5 Shadow Teams in total. As the red, as nod, this is BikeRushOwnz. Now, those of you who are 1,000 years old may have remembered some shows that were produced by the Command & Conquer team. Battlecast Primetime, Command School, and then there was one other one that was like a behind-the-scenes show. It was called like After Hours or something. I don't remember. But Battlecast Primetime and Command School were the primary two, and then eventually it was just Battlecast Primetime. And there was this old strategy featured on Command School, which was called the Ultimate Shadow Team Rush, which is where you got enough Shadow Teams to actually be able to bomb an MCV. And I don't know if that actually worked competitively ever, but in theory it could work. I don't know that Bike Rush quite has enough. I think you need like 7 or 8 Shadow Teams. And by the way, against a bike going into the air can be quite devastating, because bikes have guaranteed hits against aircraft. They don't have guaranteed hits against infantry. So as you can see, BikeRushOwnz trying to buy a little bit of extra time for his Shadow Teams. He's still got all 5 members, or excuse me, all 5 squads, and so that damage was spread out over those squads, so he does have full bombing potential. It looks like there is 1 Tiberium spike there to be captured, and then at least an EMP control center in the corner here as well. Very big map, it seems like. This really feels like a big, gigantic map that may end up favoring Nod, but this is a Nod mirror, so we don't have to worry about that too much. But big, flat, open maps tend to favor the Nod bike buggy, harass them to death, there's openings all over the place kind of style, more than some of the other factions. But, to be honest, Tib Wars is pretty spammy all the ways, and Seeker Tanks are pretty maneuverable as well, just not so much the Predators and the, Pitbulls are pretty maneuverable, and Pitbull spam is something that is semi-viable. All right, let's see how much damage to this refinery 5 Shadow Teams does. It looks like TrainingAcc has figured it out. He gets the sail and he gets the crush, the harvester going on the offense and actually being the MVP of TrainingAcc, getting more damage against those Shadow Teams than anyone else. What has Bike Rush been doing in the meantime? He's taken his natural expansion. He's got up 2 refineries, but that is not much compared to what was happening for TrainingAcc. TrainingAcc before that bombing was only 1 refinery behind. Maybe a couple of harvesters, but only 1 refinery behind, and now he is basically 2 refineries behind now that he has rebuilt that one. He's 1, but as you can see, BikeRushOwnz harvesting a lot more Tiberium a lot more quickly. Bike's now going to be coming in. TrainingAcc a little bit weak on the defense, pulling so much down to the south side of his main base to defend. Will leave a bit of an opening, but it isn't completely punished. That harvester surviving, no juking and jiving. It did manage to unload all of its Tiberium, though, just in time, and BikeRushOwnz is garrisoning up the middle of the map. Rockets all over the place. It's a transition into Scorpion tanks, and is it going to be double or triple War Factory? I wouldn't be surprised if it was triple War Factory. We'll see how about the tech up into Tier 3. Now, as you can see, there is a designed third base, is what I mean. There is also a contested 4th field, and I guess technically a 4th field way out here. So this is actually a map with 4 fields designed for each player. However, and then a contested 5th field. However, we'll see if it actually gets to that spot. Looks like maybe there were additional Tiberium spikes. I'm not actually sure. I wasn't paying that much attention, given the Shadow Team nature of this game. Nod v Nod, and the bike buggy is swinging onto the left side of the map. Surprisingly, BikeRushOwnz just skipping the bike buggy phase of the game and just going straight up into Scorpions. That's going to be his defense. One Harvester down. TrainingAcc bringing the plays here as he's looking to even the odds and cut down some of the Harvesters of BikeRushOwnz. And that is going to be a dead couple of refineries up in the north, gets 2, maybe 3 refineries there on the front line, and TrainingAcc really should be doing that exact same thing here to BikeRushOwnz. He should be shutting down the natural expansion of BikeRushOwnz. There's still half a Tiberium field worth of stuff there, and that means that TrainingAcc really only has this field and this field going for him, but not a lot of Harvesters as much as he would like. Scorpion tanks cutting into the third base of BikeRushOwnz, and he was not prepared for this, so the refinery is going to get jumped on, and BikeRushOwnz's defense is certainly lacking here. The obelisk is here, double obelisk all the way. He's going to be able to hold off the Scorpions with his own reinforcements and the double obelisk, but how much damage will he take? It looks like the Harvester survives. BikeRushOwnz still going to be able to stabilize from here. TrainingAcc not taking the foot off the gas. If he did not take this third base as quickly as he did, he would be in a much worse position than he is. His prioritization of that third base, despite the fact that he never had 2 operational refineries on his main base, the focus on that third base has actually been pretty important for TrainingAcc, who is, I don't know what he's doing now, where his MCV has ended up, but a bike coming through. This is a scouting bike, and it looks like it might be a double catalyst or a catalyst missile kill. 2 refineries, so many Harvesters, an unbelievably valuable catalyst missile fires off there, gets, I don't know, 3, maybe 4 Harvesters, 2 refineries as well. Just absolute devastation to BikeRush's third base. BikeRushOwnz going with the multi-MCV life is getting caught a bit on the Harvesters in Tiberium in his northern field, and it looks like this MCV is going to get caught by these bikes, maybe even destroyed as bikes swinging in, getting 50% of the health of that Harvester before anything even happens. Additional refineries going down, but they're powered down immediately to keep those Harvesters safe for the current moment. TrainingAcc, he's got dozer blades, but is he going to be going for the Tib spike? No, he's going to be going for the main base. These guys not wanting to face each other in a straight-up fight, and instead just contending with each other's bases. TrainingAcc realizes that it's up to avatars for BikeRushOwnz, and BikeRushOwnz is going to try and hold the line with those avatars. No upgrades on the Scorps for no laser capacitor upgrades on the Scorps for TrainingAcc, so we won't be able to contend those avatars for now. 4 refineries up and running, but only 3 Harvesters on the third field for BikeRushOwnz. Gone up to Tier 3. There's one MCV. There's the other for TrainingAcc. He's back up and running. He's going to be heading up to the north. BikeRushOwnz is already there. We saw that MCV moving out earlier, and there is a ton of Tiberium fields on this map, but it feels like they are drying up pretty quickly, so it actually doesn't feel like there's an insane amount of Tiberium. I wonder if maybe the regrowth rate has been slowed a little bit from the traditional Tib Wars maps. There's going to be the base crawl to that 4th field. Laser turrets are here. Scorps and rocket squads all mixed together to shut down this expansion, and goodbye expansion. There's too many forces here from BikeRushOwnz. We'll see if the reinforcements from TrainingAcc can do anything, but it's going to have to be more than just 3 Scorpions. Double War Factory on the front line. TrainingAcc might need to take this bottom right field as his 4th laser capacitors has finished up, so TrainingAcc is going to continue with the Scorpion tank route, not going for avatars. This is so much firepower for BikeRushOwnz as he targets down both of the Harvesters at the 4th base of TrainingAcc, and TrainingAcc is going to hold his ground. He is buying into this system. He believes that he can take it. Stealth field nukes a big chunk of infantry there as one avatar marches his way forward and says, "Sorry, boss, not for me," turns around and heads back home. 2 obelisks have fallen, but a third pops up in its place. The Cerberus of obelisks, but unable to keep all 3 of them around at one time. Low power mode for TrainingAcc as he wins the ground fight, but loses his Harvesters, so he's maintained some kind of ground control, but can he actually make use of the Tiberium in this location? Tiberium still under the control of BikeRushOwnz. TrainingAcc may actually not have a whole lot of extra cash This may be sort of a do-or-die situation holding this top left field. BikeRushOwnz, the avatars are here, the rocket squads are here. They're starting to chip away at the Scorpion tanks, but one MCV is about to go bye-bye. The build radius won't last forever as TrainingAcc closes in on BikeRush's forces, and this is the point where BikeRush is just going to try and grind out the forces, make this as costly as possible for TrainingAcc. How many Scorpions can BikeRush claim? But double obelisk on the front line, that might be enough to break BikeRush completely and send him packing from this location. BikeRush hedging his bets and setting up an expansion in the bottom right-hand corner, takes his own 4th base since this one is done and dusted. TrainingAcc goes toe-to-toe with BikeRushOwnz in a nod v nod and holds his ground, sticks it to him and pushes him back, and now he's even going to get the roast and toast on those rocket squads. Cleared them out of the building. 3 rocket squads completely annihilated. TrainingAcc claims the victory, but will he win the war? Avatar gets sniped. The engineer hops inside of it. I assume that was a low-health avatar, and it's faster to get the engineer inside of the husk to get 2/3 or 60% of the health back instead of sending it back to a war factory to get the slower repair. I love the grab of the EMP control center. Might as well get it while you're there. Selling off one of these obelisks feels like a good idea, but honestly, I don't know that I would sell off both of them. You want the cash of selling off both of them, but you're always a little bit wary against BikeRushOwnz. Long-distance harvesting from the middle field. TrainingAcc has actually played this one out very well. There were some definite points where I thought BikeRushOwnz was just going to power up and get out of control, but honestly, TrainingAcc has been doing a fantastic job of just octopusing around the map, swinging left and right here and there, moving around and always being fluid and mobile enough to still be effective against BikeRushOwnz. He didn't go for the avatars. He wanted to stick to his guns and get the laser scorps, stick to his Scorpion building roots in this match. Refinery on the low ground. Good choice there by TrainingAcc to take the contested center field. Scorpions back away from the front line. BikeRushOwnz now realizing that TrainingAcc has got this advantage of taking the middle of the map, going to be assaulting it with rocket squads, which actually might turn out okay against the obelisk. Just one obelisk there, but if they can take the buildings, they stand a chance. TrainingAcc Scorpions coming in for the rescue mission, and TrainingAcc may have an opportunity to hold the center of the map, get that last bit of Tiberium, and then use it to fuel his late-game push into BikeRush's last base. Maybe it's just these fields are so much smaller than other Tib Wars fields, and that is actually what's creating sort of the difference in the fact that there hasn't been just an outright over-the-top explosion of units like we normally see. I mean, normally, this is like 1 minute into the game, this many tanks from a nod player. Panic Fanatics coming out from BikeRushOwnz as there is even going to be the disruption tower, the sell-off of infrastructure, and BikeRushOwnz floundering, trying to make something from his defense here in the bottom right-hand corner. He's got the 4 Venoms, so he can clean up this attacking force eventually, but he gets clicked as the refinery and the harvester go down. The last couple of Scorpions are going to expire, and BikeRush's own attacking force in the top left-hand corner, it looks like, hasn't done as much as he was hoping. The last Scorpion tank goes down. The refineries have been cleaned up, and BikeRushOwnz is going to be looking to reestablish at least one refinery. Yeah, there it goes down right there. Gets deployed to that location. Harvesters getting hunted. A couple of harvesters, not a lot of Tiberium in most of these guys, but a couple of these harvesters are quite full of Tiberium. Bike Buggy swings in, EMP, double EMP in the middle in the stealth field to nuke the infantry once again. Those laser buggies finish the job as BikeRushOwnz tries to take the center and fails to secure the kill on the harvesters. No additional clicks for BikeRushOwnz. It looks like the Tib chemical plant was at some point removed from the map, either sold off or destroyed by TrainingAcc. This MCV has been slowly but surely taking damage from the units inside of this building. Finally, they're going to get cleaned up. Those rocket squads nearly getting a kill on an MCV. That would have been a fantastic move for BikeRush if he could have shut down that build radius in the middle of the map or stopped that additional obelisk from being deployed, but he has not. Of course, in Tib Wars, the build radius around a refinery is pretty insane. That's one of those things that I always forget, and then it's like you place down a refinery and it gives you, you know, an extra 25% build radius outside of what you already had, and it's just absolutely huge for base crawling and for setting up obelisks and stuff. Harvester's getting targeted down, long-distance harvesting for TrainingAcc. BikeRushOwnz, he's got the tech advantage if he could make use of the avatars, but it's just a bit of an awkward situation. BikeRushOwnz, what avatars he did have, got overwhelmed at various points, and now he's trying to rebuild his army. He's managed to hold on to his Tier 3, wherever he's got that deployed. I'm not sure where he's got it deployed, but he's managed to hold on to it for at least part of the game, and he was at some point still pumping out avatars. He may have just switched back into Bike Buggy. Where's the defense for TrainingAcc? He may have expended too many forces attacking in other places, and now his army just isn't quite there. Venom's coming in, but they're all clumped up. The bikes get a huge hit. BikeRushOwnz now going to be getting mine dropped as well. The avatars taking big damage as they cross the minefield, looking for the opportunity to shut down the economy of TrainingAcc here on the right side of the map. BikeRushOwnz finally focusing his forces, joining everything together for one unified assault. BikeRushOwnz is going to try and take this field as well. If he can hold these 5 fields in this horseshoe shape, he may very well be able to hold on to this game. This is a good chunk of Tiberium to have under your control. Harvesters and Scorpions getting targeted down. Venom's in the air only from BikeRushOwnz, so he's got the advantage. He's got the unkillable forces. TrainingAcc steps backwards. He's not going to be able to contest that much firepower from BikeRushOwnz. A mix of avatars and rocket squads will not be stopped. Harvesters getting targeted down, this obelisk doing its work. BikeRushOwnz not able to get the additional kill on that harvester. It feels like that should be in range, but I guess the stealth detection of the obelisk actually doesn't go as far as the attack range, which is kind of an interesting thing that I didn't know about obelisks. Scorpions getting pushed back, the noose getting pulled tighter and tighter. BikeRushOwnz from the brink of defeat in this game has pulled it back. EMP fires off, gets the Venoms. Can he make anything out of this? The return EMP locks down the War Factory in one lone Scorpion tank. Reverse moving into the firepower of the rocket squads will not be enough. Harvesters and Scorpions standing arm to arm and the front line as TrainingAcc falls to pieces. BikeRushOwnz claims another victory. What a game here on Destination. Not how you typically expect a Tib Wars match to go. TrainingAcc ahead on Eco the entire time, quite literally, and yet he couldn't make it happen. Those Scorpion tanks, they did wonders for him, but ultimately they did not do enough. I think honestly, the efficiency is also on the Scorpion tank side, but I think those that combination of a couple of those rocket squads inside of buildings did far more damage than they should have, and then those avatars at the end were just sort of unkillable. It was down to the wire for TrainingAcc, and he was unable to make it happen. That'll do it for this game, for this video. Thank you all very much for watching. You can check out the Catalyst tournament for Tib Wars. Check out the coverage of that, and then also download these maps in the description. That'll do it for this. And this is Sybert, signing out.